So once again, good morning, students. We will see today class for module 3 in power system analysis subject, that is symmetrical fault analysis. So we are going to see today a new topic and basic of symmetrical fault analysis. Okay. So first, before seeing symmetrical fault analysis, we need to understand what is fault analysis. So this fault we are going to analyze on power system. So why we are going for fault analysis is to give a protection or to design the protection on power system if fault is occurred. If a fault is occurred on the power system, how much switching device I can able to use, those things I need to measure. So we are going for fault analysis. So fault analysis will help us to design the protection device or circuit breakers. So how much current will be occurred during fault in power system. So this fault analysis can be given in two types. One is symmetrical fault, and one more is unsymmetrical fault. So what is meant by symmetrical fault? Any idea? Usually symmetrical means it will occur on power system for all the three phases. For example, line, line. If fault is occurred on these three phases of these lines, then we will call symmetrical fault. How it will occur? Say for example, if a tree is falling on a power system or the transmission line, if a tree is falling on the transmission line, it will fall. There is a chances to face that all three lines are shorted. So that time we will get a symmetrical fault.
Sir, you are muted, sir.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry, I was muted. I will tell once again. So symmetrical fault, there are two types of fault in the power system. So usually this fault, why we are doing is to measure the size of protection device like circuit breakers to install in the power system. So how much current will flow on that circuit breaker during any fault is occurred. We are going to measure or we are going to analyze this. So that is why we are going for fault analysis in the power system. This fault analysis we can have two types. One is symmetrical, one more is unsymmetrical. So in this symmetrical fault occurred if all the three lines are getting shorted or getting faulted. So how it will get fault? Usually if a tree is falling on the transmission line or something is happening, lightning is struck in all three lines, so that time this symmetrical fault will occur in the power system. Or there is a chances all this line, three phase line with ground shortage, so this also possible. So this is also a symmetrical fault we will call. Then what is unsymmetrical? So during this symmetrical fault, the current is equal in all the three phases because all three phases are shorted, so there is no any unsymmetrical current flowing in the between the lines. So all the lines having a symmetrical current, so that's why the name symmetrical is came to this, because all the lines are occurred fault. In unsymmetrical, the fault will be like this, maybe single line to ground, or two lines has been shorted, or two lines with ground. So like this, if the fault is occurred, we will call this as a unsymmetrical fault. This symmetrical fault will occur in all the three phases, as I already mentioned that. Because of that, to find out the value, that is fault current, IF, fault current value, is simple in symmetrical fault. It is simple to find out this value. Why? Because I may not to find out for all the three phases separately. I will convert all the three phases into a single phase, and I will do calculation, so that the calculation or the complexity of finding out the value in symmetrical is simple than unsymmetrical fault. Because unsymmetrical fault, the current is not common for all the three phases. You say, for example, if phase 1 is having fault with ground, then phase 2 and phase 3 have different current values. So at that time, calculation may be little bit complicated in unsymmetrical fault. So you may get a question like this. So what are the difference between symmetrical fault and unsymmetrical fault? During the time, you can write all these points. But you see, usually most of maybe around 80 to 90% of the fault will be symmetrical fault only. Why? Because it is very rare to get all the three lines are getting shorted. But finding the value is very simple. But 80 to 90% of the fault will occur by symmetrical fault type only. That is, one single line is shorted with ground, or two lines are shorted, or two lines with ground is shorted. So usually we will have this type of fault only maximum. So we are going to study symmetrical fault in module 3, and this one in module 4. So separate module 4, sorry. Separate module is given for symmetrical fault and then unsymmetrical fault. Any doubt up to this? Any doubt? So why we are going for fault analysis? Because the system must be protected against the flow of heavy short circuit current, which can cause permanent damage to the major equipments. So this can be protected by disconnecting the faulty part of the system by the means of circuit breakers operated by the protecting relays. So we need to know how much protecting relay we need to install in that particular place or particular protecting areas. So for proper choice of circuit breakers and protective relays, we must estimate the magnitude of current that will flow under a short circuit current. So that is why we are going for fault analysis. And also the load can be neglected during fault. Say for example, if a fault is occurred in the system, during that time we can ignore the load, because say in symmetrical, only if you are considering for the symmetrical load fault, all the three lines are shorted. All these three lines are shorted. So
Sir,
there, yes,
Bhavna is waiting, sir, to join.
okay. Okay, so load is not considered, or load current will not be there, because all these three are shorted. So it is no use of considering the load while calculating the fault analysis. That is one important thing you need to consider while doing the problems. Okay, so if you want to calculate fault analysis, we can ignore or neglect the load during the fault. Why? As the voltage dip is very low, so that the current drawn by the load can be neglected in comparison of the fault current. So fault current is huge comparing to the load current, so we can neglect that. In symmetrical fault, due to current is balanced during fault, the calculation is simple than the unsymmetrical fault that we already discussed. Okay, so we need to find out the suitable breaking circuit breakers at different location, not only a single location, at different location on power system network, by calculating the possible maximum current flow during fault occurrence. So this is what called as fault analysis. So now you understand what are the fault analysis, what is fault analysis, why we are doing it, and different type of fault analysis, and then some important concept on the fault analysis we have discussed. Now, what are the assumption we need to consider or involved during the symmetrical fault we need to find out? So what are the assumption usually you need to take or you need to consider? Okay, assumptions involved while calculating symmetrical fault. So first point is, at the time of fault the system is operating at no load. Why? System is operating at no load. Why? Any idea? Just now I explained.
Circuit breakers.
Yeah, because I'm only speaking about the symmetrical fault. So if symmetrical fault is occurred, all these three lines with ground or maybe all three lines alone is shorted. So the load or the fault current is very huge while comparing to the load current, or load current will never get any current because all these three are shorted. What you said is very correct. So at the time of fault, the system is operating at no load. Very good. And then this is point number one. Point number two, all the EMF of the generators in the system are operated at per unit. So all the EMF of the generators in the system are operating at per unit. That is E is equal to 1 and angle is 0 per unit. Okay, all the voltage, maximum voltage will be considered for every generators, because there is no any load we are considering. Every voltage whatever we are applying will be throughout the generator will have full voltage, that is 1 angle 0. Okay, and then point 3. So first thing is, all the generators are operating in the per unit and the value of the generator is E is equal to 1 and angle is equal to 0. This is the assumption we are taking for symmetrical fault calculation. Third one, all the transformers in the system will be assumed as having only leakage reactance. Having only leakage reactance. So we are assuming only leakage reactance is there and no more reactances are there in the transformer, or due to leakage of flux not linking with all the turns of the each. Just a minute. Okay, so in the transformer there will be imperfect coupling winding. So due to that there will be a leakage reactance. Only we are considering that leakage reactance in the transformer. No other reactance we are considering in the case of transformer. So this is one of the case. But usually we will not use this assumption usually in the problems, because they will give the value of leakage reactance in the question. So this is also one of the assumption you may get this question, that is assumptions involved while calculating the symmetrical fault. This question you may get in the theory part of this module. Okay, and then fourth point is, for transmission lines we will neglect the resistance and shunt capacitance. For transmission lines you will neglect the resistance and shunt capacitance. So this is the another assumption we are making, and only we will consider reactance in the transmission lines. Reactance in transmission line. So these are all the assumptions usually we will take while calculating the fault on symmetrical fault on power system. So we usually have taken only 4 points, that is fifth point is continuation of the fourth point. Okay, so please note down. Next, we will see the steps involving to solve the symmetrical fault analysis problem. Sometimes this symmetrical fault analysis also called as three-phase symmetrical fault calculation. Okay, so sometimes they will ask in question three-phase symmetrical, so don't get confused, both are same. Why? Because we know that in symmetrical all the lines are been shorted or having any problem or fault. So first step 1 of the problem is draw single line diagram of the system. So this is the first step we need to use. Usually if they are given a network, convert that network into a single line diagram as we converted in the module 1. Easy step. Step 2. For each element of the system, in single line diagram, whatever you are having the elements in the single line diagram, evaluate per unit value of reactance, that is x per unit value for each element. For each and every element in the single line diagram, you need to evaluate the reactance, per unit reactance value. That is the step 2. Later, step 3, Step 3, draw single line reactance diagram. Draw single line reactance diagram. On per phase basis. Per phase basis. Why per phase basis? Because we know that as symmetrical fault is easy to calculate, we don't want to calculate for all the three phases, so any one phase is enough. So for one phase, if you draw the single line diagram, reactance diagram, so single line diagram is different, single line reactance diagram is different. Here we will convert, or we will find out all the only reactants available in the system, and we will convert all the elements into a reactance. So that is what this line is. Step 3 is phases with respect to neutral. With respect to neutral. This is step 3. And then step 4. Please write down, or I will give the notes anyway, but while taking class, if you are taking some hints, it will be useful for recalling. Next step is evaluate the equivalent reactants. Equivalent reactants. What is equivalent reactance? Say in step 3 we have all got each and every equipment's reactance value we got, and then we have drawn the single line diagram of the reactance. From that single line different reactance value, we need to convert into equivalent reactance. Like for example, if it is connected in series, we know just we will add the reactance. If it is in the parallel, we will use the formula. So like that, convert all the reactants into a single equivalent reactance value, and then write the value, that is x equivalent from step 3. Say for example, equivalent circuit will be like this. Say this is a generator having a reactance like this. All the reactants are converted, that is I'll tell this is J equivalent, Jx equivalent in per unit. I don't want to mention here always per unit, but it is per unit. And then the fault is occurred here. This is the fault point we will usually tell. Fault point. So this is the equivalent circuit we will get like this. So this x equivalent we need to convert. This is the generator G1 maybe. So if you have more generators, we will convert this generator into a single generator, because we know that all the generators, the E value is nothing but 1 and angle is 0. This is what we are we are assuming. So directly we can convert if more number of generators are there into a single generator, and the value of this will be E is equal to 1 angle 0. So this is the value we will take. Only thing is reactance value we need to calculate in step 2 and step 3 and step 4. Once we got this, and later step 5 we need to evaluate IF, that is nothing but fault current in per unit. Okay, now there is a small question for you all. Why we are going for fault current? Why we need to find out the fault current in step 5, or maybe usually? Any guess? In the beginning of the class I explained. Yeah, please tell me. Why? Because see, we are doing this fault analysis just to understand how much protecting device I need to install in every point. So if I know during the fault, how much maximum current I will get on that point or faulty point, if I know that, it is easy to design a protecting device to put on that place. Correct or not? Please tell me, correct or not? So I need to find out fault current IF. How can we find out the fault current? So in step 4, I have got this what equivalent reactance value. They're having a generator. We know the fault point. So just if you find out the current here using KVL or KCL, you find out the IF. Then this is nothing but my fault current. Got it? So I want to find out the fault current in step 5. So what is the formula for fault current? So IF is equal to EF. EF is nothing but E. F I put because fault, during fault, just to indicate during fault I put F, otherwise it is E only. E into JX equivalent. So this is the formula. Both are in per unit. Both are in per unit. Why? Because so we know that here E is there, voltage E is there, and here it is reactance. So voltage divided by reactance, we will get the faulty current during this area, this place. And then we know that E is always, what is the E usually we are assuming? Usually E, what is the E value we are assuming? E is equal to, someone please tell me, 1 angle 0. So I will usually, without directly in formula IF, I will put 1 angle 0 divided by JX equivalent in per unit. So this is the step 5. We need to find out the IF value. That is nothing but IF. Okay. So this is one of the formula is noted for IF to find out the fault current. After finding out the equivalent reactance, we will go for this step. Later you can see that this is the fault current value in per unit, but I need to get actual value, actual current value. Then only I can able to design my what protecting device. So step 6 is evaluate IF fault current actual. So this is actual, IF actual. So from per unit I need to convert into actual. So we know that in the first module itself we see, if I need to find out the actual value from per unit, what is the formula? So this formula will be IF per unit into I base into I base. How we can find I base? I base will be, usually we can calculate from the values given in the question itself. So the base value will be given in the question. Otherwise I will write here. So how to find out, how to get base value of the current? So in the problem, you have the capacity of the generator. Capacity value of the generator, that is nothing but S. We will have the value S. And also we know that S is nothing but, that is the power root 3 VL IL. So this IL is nothing but line current, and then this is line voltage, because the root 3 is because of three-phase system. Otherwise, or yes, I can able to write like 3 VP IP. So this is phase current, this is phase voltage. So using this formula or this formula, I can able to find out the maximum current, that is the IP or IL. So that current I will take as base. Otherwise, if I want to find out I base will be, so if I take IL here, then it will be S divided by root 3 VL. So using this formula, or from this, I base can be calculated by what? This is okay. So S divided by 3 VP. So using this formula or this formula, I can able to find out the I base. But usually we will give in 90 or 99% of the problems, they will give value for line values only. So we will use in general we will use I base is equal to S divided by root 3 into VL. We will use as it is a common or general method. So like that we can able to find out the I base value. Okay, or I base value, and then from IF per unit we will convert into the actual fault current. So this is the actual fault current. So once you got the actual fault current, then step 7, okay, or this is step 7 only, right? Yeah, step 7. Step 7, calculate short circuit MVA. Calculate short circuit MVA. This also can be called as fault MVA. Otherwise it will otherwise this also can be called as fault level. Fault level in per unit. All these values are in per unit. So how to find out this MVA, short circuit MVA? So short circuit, in simple I will write SC here after. Short circuit MVA is equal to VF per unit and also this will be pre-fault. I will tell what is pre-fault into IF per unit. So I want to find out the power. So that is short circuit power MVA is equal to VF per unit. This is pre-fault. I will write here. Pre-fault is nothing but voltage at fault location. Fault location before fault occurs. But we know that before fault occurs, what is the voltage we don't know. But usually we are taking all the voltages are 1 per angle V or E we are taking 1 and 0 angle. So usually this VF also we will take as 1 only. And IF, by calculating the step 5, we can find out the IF per unit. So if you multiply these two things, we will get per unit value. Okay, so this MVA will be equal to IF directly because 1 we are usually putting in the VF. Next, after finding out the short circuit MVA, we need to convert that MVA into actual value because this MVA value in the per unit. So we need to convert into the actual value. So step 8. Step 8 is calculate short circuit MVA actual. So short circuit MVA. So this can be actual value of short circuit MVA. So I will write in the simple form. SC is nothing but short circuit MVA actual. Actual is equal to short circuit MVA per unit value into the total power. Here S is equal to root 3 VL IL or 3 VP IP, and SCMVA per unit value, we know that from the step 7 is equal to EF per unit into IF per unit. So if we have these values, we'll get SC actual, short circuit actual power. So these are all the steps we need to use for finding out the what fault analysis problem. So I'm not telling all these 8 steps need to be followed for all the problems, but these are the steps we need to follow. If any say for example, if only short circuit per unit value is asked, then we will stop in step 7 itself. If they're asking for actual, then we'll go for this. Or sometimes they will ask only what is IF per unit. So at the time 5th step only we can stop. So this is the overall steps involved in the fault analysis in the symmetrical. So we can use this one. And one more note I want to tell. Say for example, so note that if fault impedance is given in the question, fault impedance is already given in the question, then how we can able to find out IF, that is fault current. So I will tell now. Then so how it will look like is, say for example, here generator is there and having the E value here, and then it is grounded, and then we have a equivalent reactance, and here the fault is occurred, and before giving ground, if something like this impedance is given here, okay, and they are telling fault is not occurred here, and after the here it is occurred, then this will be ZF, they will tell, that is nothing but fault impedance. So like that, if they are given fault impedance in the question and they are telling this is the fault point, this is the fault point, then IF per unit will be calculated as usual. EF is nothing but the voltage in volt problem also, and as usual ZE equivalent we will add plus this ZF, that's all. Add just this ZF in this formula, then you will get IF. So this is the note you need to consider if the fault impedance is given. Some of the question they may give fault impedance in that question. So this is how we need to find out IF per unit in that case. So that's all the steps involved in the fault analysis on the symmetrical fault occurrence. Okay, so any doubt up to this? So in next class we will solve one problem in this symmetrical fault. Okay, so that's all about today's class, and we will meet in next class.